So one of my favorite promos ever in the history of my 30, almost 2 years in this business is with you and a sandwich.
Yes, I knew exactly the second you said it.
That promo, because I don't even know if Paul gave us verbiage or just told us to we made that whole thing up, didn't we?
Yeah, I remember him saying, I need something, you guys just be you. And like, that was our humor, right?
Stupid. So
yeah.
There was this 8-foot sandwich that was not touched. I don't know if we were supposed to eat that in catering, but for some reason it was in this lot. We walked into a locker room. It was a pay-per-view. And
it was at Hammerstein. Yeah.
Was it see, you remember, I don't remember, but I remembered this big sandwich and I was like, I'm going to pretend to shove that sandwich in my mouth and that's going to be an innuendo of a penis and people are going to like this. And you were like, yeah, do it. I was like, I'm doing it. And then you go in the cougar and you spit all over my face. I love that promo so much. It's one of my favorite promos ever because it was just us going, yeah, and we were just being stupid going back and forth. And I tell you, everybody who sees that promo cracks up. They think it's the best thing ever.
They do, because don't you take Jack into the bathroom after? Or was that another one we did?
PJ. Yeah, that was the other one, and I pretend to bite his penis. And
right. You say it to me, and you go, and then and we didn't even talk about this. We just started doing this, and you were like, well, "You have the belt," and I go, "Yeah."
Oh, that one, yeah.
And I go, "I just finished myself off." But Jack wears the belt, and you're like, "I guess that'll do."
And remember, I go, "Oh, he has the belt. This makes me moist." And Jack's face just dropped, and I'm like standing there. It's so hard to try to be sexy around your friends. It's like,
I know, especially when we're going, and we're trying not to laugh, but we're trying to make it as serious as possible when we're doing like slapstick. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so fun. Well, I regret that the company went under because the last promo I ever did was with you and Jack and PJ. And I go, what do I say? I said something like 3 men are better than one. Such a whore. And you guys are all standing around me because we finally were going to be on the same team.
We were going to be the new Impact players. Remember?
I know. And then it just went to shit.
It went to shit. I was so excited.
So much fun.
Paul was like, his idea was like, I'm going to put the titles on you and PJ right away. And he's like, and then Franny's there and Jack's there and you'll still have Rhino every once in a while. And I'm just like, yeah, Rhino's going to be a babyface. But like, yeah, it was like, and that was the last thing people saw.
Yeah, that was the last image on television was us.
Yeah.
Oh, what could have been?
It could have been.
That would have been so much fun because we always worked opposite each other. We never worked as a team. So that would have been a good.
Here's a question I've never brought up to you.
Yeah, sure.
So we were going to be together, right?
Was
that ever discussed with you?
Towards the end of that.
So remember I turned babyface, right? In August of 2000, I turned babyface.
Kind of a tweener, but it's kind
of.
Yeah.
And it was only supposed to be 4 weeks. And then remember we did the big show in Canada?
Yes, when I broke my ribs.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And so the original plan, Paul told me when he mapped out, like, because I was freaking out when I was going to turn babyface. Because I was like, I'm going to suck. And he's like, no, this is quick, this. And he goes like this. And Paul knew, like, I was such a fan. He goes, Ole Anderson, Dusty Rhodes. And I said, okay, I'm listening. And he goes, we're gonna build to you and Tommy in a cage with, I want to say it was the Baldies. It could have been somebody like that. And we were gonna do the cage, and I was gonna turn on Tommy and go back to heel. And he had said about like you slamming the door into Tommy's head, and then
Oh, and then me and you being together?
me, you, and Jack would have been together.
No shit.
And then I got Dawn for a couple of weeks because I know that it probably that's where I went sideways with Dawn for a little bit because
you did
the
that.
night we did me and PJ and you and Hammerstein, remember that was one of my favorite matches. And I'm challenging for the title in New York where I was never popular and they were all chanting for me. You got your head split that night. And,
that's when I did the Coochie Conrana on you and I slammed it into the post.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, you have blood all over you. And I was like, what? And oh my God. Yeah.
And so that was the night Dawn came out with me. And I remember going to Paul, I'm like, what about Francine and Jack and the cage? And he's like, yeah, I think we're going to go somewhere else. And I'm like, oh, and like, it wasn't against Dawn. I was just so scared that they were going to take Jack away from me. And like, Jack was like my lifeline. And like, so it was like, but that was the original plan that was told to me, was that we were going to turn against Tommy in the cage. And, and the promos would have been like, we've been planning this, and we've been, and we suckered him into the cage. And then like, it was going to be me and Tommy again. And then,
I never was told any of that. I wonder who put the kibosh on it.
I don't know. Because all of a sudden, because I had the match at Hammerstein with PJ, and it went well. And then all of a sudden, I was working PJ and Jerry in 3-ways on live events, and then all of a sudden, everybody else was leaving, so they had to put the title on me.
I remember the one match at it had to have been at Hammerstein. And I remember it was towards the end when no one was really getting paid. And that was the night that that Jerry like wanted to walk out and said he wasn't going to work. And, and I remember Paul saying to me and Jack Victory, because there was ladders, lots of ladders involved. And he says to me and Jack, you're going to do a spot where you go up one side of the ladder and Jack goes up on the other side, and you guys are at the top of the ladder, and you get bumped and you both go flying on the outside through a table. And Paul walks away and Jack goes, fuck that. I'm not getting paid. We're not doing it. And I go, okay. We never did the spot, but I remember Paul saying that would be a great spot if we did. And I'm like, well, it would be a great spot. And I was like, but I don't really have health insurance. What if something happens? Like, what,
Full behind right now.
Well, you know what it was? The guardrail was so close.
So close. The ring. And those people weren't getting out of the way either.
No. And where were we going to fall? Me and Jack. I would have held on to Jack for dear life if we were falling off that. But I'll never forget. Jack goes, we're not doing that. And I was like, no, we're not doing that. So that was the big spot that never happened that evening. But I never knew there were plans for you and I. That's interesting. Yeah. Hey there, it is the Queen of Extreme, Francine from ECW. Do you want to see more of me? Click over here to watch another video, or click over here to listen to my podcast.